In the wake of Queen Camilla's latest misstep, something unprecedented is happening inside Buckingham Palace. King Charles III, facing mounting pressure from within the royal family and beyond, has quietly begun transferring a significant measure of constitutional authority to his granddaughter, Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana. She is 9 years old, and according to sources close to the royal household, she has just become one of the most strategically positioned figures in the House of Windsor's long-term planning. This isn't just about titles or ceremony. This concerns the monarchy's survival strategy and who the palace believes can secure public trust in a post-Charles era. Let's dive in. To understand what's happening now, we need to go back to February 2026. That month marked a turning point. Queen Camilla, who has struggled with public perception since her marriage to Charles in 2005, became embroiled in what insiders are calling her most damaging scandal yet. According to Closer Weekly, Camilla was photographed at a private event with individuals connected to a financial controversy involving a charity she publicly endorsed. While there is no evidence of wrongdoing on her part, the optics were disastrous. The images circulated widely. The palace issued a brief statement expressing regret over the association, but the damage was done. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams told the Daily Mail that the incident represented a tipping point. For years, Camilla has worked to rehabilitate her image, moving from the woman blamed for the collapse of Charles and Diana's marriage to a respected queen consort. But this February incident, Fitzwilliams noted, reminded the public of lingering doubts about her judgment and her circle of influence. Sources say King Charles was privately furious, not at Camilla herself, but at the advisors who failed to vet the event properly. What no one yet understood was that the fallout from this scandal would trigger a series of palace decisions that fundamentally alter Princess Charlotte's future role. King Charles has been king for just over 2 years. In that time, he has faced health challenges, public scrutiny over the slimmed-down monarchy he promised, and the ongoing challenge of modernizing an institution resistant to change. He is 75 years old. He knows his reign will not last as long as his mother's, and he knows that William, while popular, will need every advantage when he eventually takes the throne. That includes a royal family the public can believe in. Princess Charlotte was born on May 2, 2015. She is third in line to the throne, behind her father Prince William and her older brother Prince George. She is the first female royal in British history whose place in the succession is protected by law, regardless of the birth of younger brothers. That legislative change, the succession to the Crown Act of 2013, was a quiet revolution. It positioned Charlotte as a symbol of gender equality within the monarchy itself. But it was a clause buried in palace documents from late 2025, quietly approved by King Charles and seen by only a handful of senior officials, that would set the stage for what is happening now. According to sources who spoke to OK magazine, King Charles signed an internal directive granting Princess Charlotte a formal consultative role in matters concerning the monarchy's public-facing initiatives, effective on her 10th birthday in May 2026. This is not a working royal title. She will not carry out official engagements at age 10, but the directive establishes her as a symbolic participant in strategic planning meetings, a voice representing the next generation's perspective. An insider explained that Charles believes Charlotte, even at her age, embodies the values the monarchy needs to project: humility, relatability, and a modern sensibility. This decision was made before the Camilla scandal erupted, but the scandal accelerated its implementation. In late February 2026, just days after the controversy broke, Prince William reportedly met with his father at Windsor Castle. The meeting lasted over 3 hours. No staff members were present for most of it. According to a palace insider who spoke to Radar Online, William made his position clear. He believes Queen Camilla, while well-intentioned, has become a liability in the court of public opinion. He does not believe she should be sidelined entirely, but he does believe the palace needs to elevate figures who can carry the monarchy's reputation forward without baggage. Charlotte, he argued, is one of those figures. There is real emotional weight in that argument. William has spent his entire adult life managing the legacy of his mother, Princess Diana. He watched Diana's popularity eclipse the institution itself. He saw how the public responded to her warmth, her accessibility, her willingness to break protocol in the service of genuine connection. Charlotte, sources say, reminds William of his mother in ways that go beyond her middle name. She is naturally empathetic. She engages easily with people. She has been photographed comforting her younger brother Prince Louis during public events, a gesture that went viral and softened the royal family's often distant image. William believes Charlotte can be the monarchy's bridge to a younger, more skeptical generation. And King Charles, facing his own mortality and aware of the institution's fragility, appears to agree. The formal authority being transferred to Charlotte is largely symbolic at this stage. She will not sign legislation. She will not represent the crown at state functions. But she has been granted what sources describe as a protected status within the palace hierarchy. This means that decisions about her public image, her education, and her future role cannot be made without direct approval from King Charles or Prince William. It also means that senior courtiers, including those loyal to Queen Camilla, no longer have unilateral influence over Charlotte's positioning within the family. One source told the National Examiner that this move was designed to insulate Charlotte from the kind of internal palace politics that have plagued younger royals in the past. The palace learned hard lessons from Prince Harry's departure. They saw how a lack of clear institutional support, combined with hostile briefings from competing factions within the household, drove Harry and Meghan away. Charles does not want Charlotte to face that. He wants her path clearly defined and protected, but the decision has created tension. Queen Camilla, according to multiple reports, was not consulted before the directive was signed. She learned of it only after the fact. Sources say she was deeply hurt. Camilla has spent years trying to build a relationship with William's children, and while she is not their grandmother, she has made efforts to be present in their lives. To be excluded from a decision of this magnitude felt to her like a public vote of no confidence. An insider close to Camilla told Closer Weekly that she views the move as William's doing, not Charles's. She believes William is positioning his own children, particularly Charlotte, as the monarchy's future at the expense of her own influence. Camilla has long been sensitive to the perception that she is an outsider within the Windsor family. This, sources say, confirmed her worst fears. The contrast between Camilla and Charlotte could not be starker. Camilla entered the royal family as a figure of controversy, a woman whose relationship with Charles began while he was still married to Diana. Despite years of rehabilitation and genuine charitable work, she has never fully escaped that shadow. Charlotte, on the other hand, was born into the role. She carries Diana's name. She represents the modernization of succession laws. She is untainted by scandal, untouched by the compromises and controversies that have defined her step-grandmother's public life. This is not just about public relations. It is about institutional survival. The British monarchy exists only as long as the British public tolerates it. That tolerance is not guaranteed. Polls consistently show younger generations are less attached to the monarchy than their parents. Support for the institution has dropped in recent years, particularly after the revelations in Harry and Meghan's interviews and the ongoing questions about royal finances and privilege. King Charles understands this. He has spoken publicly about the need for a smaller, more accountable monarchy. But words are not enough. The public needs to see evidence that the institution is evolving. Elevating Charlotte, a young girl who represents both tradition and change, is a calculated move to secure that evolution. What lies ahead for Princess Charlotte is still uncertain. She will turn 10 in May 2026. Under the new directive, she will begin participating in select palace briefings, reportedly focused on the monarchy's charitable initiatives and public engagement strategies. She will not speak publicly in these meetings, but she will observe. She will learn. And she will, according to sources, be groomed to understand the weight of the crown in a way that is age-appropriate but undeniably serious. Royal watchers are divided on whether this is wise. Some argue that Charlotte is too young to bear this kind of institutional expectation. Others believe that preparing her early with appropriate safeguards is exactly what the monarchy needs. Joe Little, managing editor of Majesty magazine, noted that royal children have historically been shielded from official duties until their late teens. But he also acknowledged that Charlotte's position is unique. She is not just a spare, she is a symbol of progress within an ancient institution. The question remains, what does this mean for Queen Camilla? Sources suggest her role will not be formally diminished, but her influence within the palace hierarchy has undeniably shifted. She will continue to carry out royal engagements. She will remain queen consort. But the palace's strategic focus has moved elsewhere. Charles is looking to the next generation. And Charlotte, whether by accident of birth or by careful design, has become central to that vision. This is more than a family story. It is a study in how institutions adapt under pressure. The British monarchy is facing questions it has not faced in generations. Who do we trust? Who do we believe represents us? And how much are we willing to forgive the mistakes of the past in exchange for the promise of a different future? Princess Charlotte cannot answer those questions alone, but her elevation suggests that the palace believes she is part of the answer.